Hi guys, welcome back to the Hold for Media podcast. We are here today with a very special guest. This is our good friend Jaron. I feel like we've got the OG trio back together for this one, which is
Yeah, and it's been a while. A
been a while.
couple of years. Life gets in the way, but yeah, we had I think so. We all went to we did 1 year of university together,
Yeah.
and you were there before us, and I was there in the middle, and you were there after us.
Yeah.
But there was 1 year where we all intersected, and I think we did that for me especially. That was my most informative year of university. That's why I wanted to go there, because I got to do major projects in that year. We all did. And I think even though it was 1 year, that will be, even today, and I'm sure for a long, long time, potentially ever, that'll be one of the most fun and formative and just best years of my life because of who it was spent with and what we spent doing. And yeah, so
Yeah, it's good to have you back. I agree with I look on it fondly. It's one of those ones where you think in the moment, it's this is the worst time, especially with the drama we had. I'm sure you enjoyed it, directing your perfect production with your perfect cast and your perfect crew. But Chloe and I had a bit more of a winding road. Tell us about not the time, not the place. We won't do that. Right. But I definitely now I'm so. I look through it because that's when Chloe and I didn't even know each other until halfway through that year. We were working with each other closely.
I think I introduced you guys.
I think it was in the project. We were working together. She was the director of photography, and I was the producer. But we didn't really. We both went through the director of our project, so we didn't really talk.
Yeah, I was
directly.
her assistant.
Yeah, you were, because our projects were...
For some reason, there was a lot of... We wrapped, and we went back to base, and then everyone had to leave, so I could talk to them for 30 minutes in private. A lot of that.
Yeah,
really.
what happened?
A lot of that.
It was...
Yeah. Yeah, but it is... You guys wouldn't know,
That's for
but
the Patreons.
Yeah. $5 a month. So a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah,
do you want to maybe talk about, because you're a bit familiar with the podcast, at least the first episodes you have seen. And you're kind of a budding documentarian as well, and especially with your project coming out very soon, which Chloe and I both plan to go to as well. Maybe if you want to kind of shamelessly self-plug.
Well, fantastic segue, first of all.
Yeah.
And I will. Thank you. I heard you guys talking about, obviously in the third episode As We Talk isn't out yet, but the first I've listened to, and you talked a lot about, which made me reflexive, I guess, on your subjective and objective documentary filmmaking. And I think I rode the line between the two. So what I've made is and it wasn't always going to be, but it's a feature film, and it's about the integrated all abilities AFL football team in Mandurah. They're the Mandurah Mustangs. So a lot of people don't know this, but there are something like 24 integrated teams in Perth. So Mandurah all the way to Scarborough, north of the city. These teams are everywhere, and the Mustangs have their men's division, which pseudo play waffle. They have their women's division, their Auskick. They've just started Star Kick, which is a great initiative, and they have all abilities integrated. So this documentary sort of chronicles the inception of the team from 2019. Keep in mind, this club's been active since, I'm probably getting this wrong, but I think it's about 1877. And they started their disability football team in 2019. So it took them, 140 years to get there. And then the fight that it took to actually get that team created. And then the next 6 years, as they progressed through their highs and lows and how they built their team, how they went about that, and then to where they are today. That is sort of the first half, or maybe the first 2/3, and that's told through interviews with the team manager, 2 of the team coaches, and probably 12 of the guys, because you can't tell a story like this without including the voices of the people who it's about. That was the most important thing. I'm a disability support worker. I have been for 6 years, and I used to volunteer for this team. Well, I still do, but before I came on to document them, that's what I did. And I just came on to capture their story, and I thought it was going to be about 15 to 20 minutes, and I just got the green light from everyone, especially the manager and the guys, and they were all so excited about it. Like, so it just like kept pushing me forward. I just kept happening to get 25-minute interviews, and the last portion of the film documents the end of their 2025 season because they won their last few games and they entered their second ever final series. So it documents their final series, and I got ridiculous access. So I was in the change rooms before the games, during halftime, after the games. I was on the interchange bench with the coaches. I was riding the boundary. I had the coaches mic'd up. We got access to the broadcast box, and we had a camera in the broadcast box. And then there was me down there. My lovely wife and my friend manned the second camera, but everything else, including the interviews, including all the footage, the training footage, probably have like 15 hours of footage. I shot myself, lit myself, and did the audio myself, which was a big undertaking because my third job is I'm a wedding videographer and photographer. And much like the amazing Sam, I love you, Sam. Don't steal my clients. So I have experience with that, but not to that level and not to that extent. So that was a challenge for me, and I was happy to take the challenge because, you know, being anxious and out of your depth breeds the ability to adapt and get better because you have to, otherwise it'll sink. And so that's where I think I came in it with objectivity and subjectivity, because I wanted to tell the story of this team objectively, how they formed, what they went through, what they've gone through, where they are now, but also, and I think honestly every documentarian needs this, because if you're making a film about a subject, you need to have some passion about it, I would think, whether it's for it or against it.
Yeah.
And that is where subjectivity breeds, right? Because it's your own passion going into it. So long story long, that's sort of what it is. And it's getting its own screening at the WMA Film Festival. As of right now, probably when you're watching this, they're all gone. I think there's like 5 tickets left, but you get a free iced coffee and a free popcorn if you come down. So.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And something that's, well, I had so many questions and then you answered it in your long story.
Yeah, sorry.
Like, no, but like,
This is the tax episode all over again.
hey. I hate being in this chair.
I enjoyed it.
Like the main thing I think for documentaries, maybe in this space and in this scale, is always access. Like that was most of what we talked about with the gang stalking idea, and also with the episode 3, which hasn't been released at this point. But
Sure, it's great.
yeah, but so like to have that access, and also like if you guys don't know Jaron, but he's like a Swiss Army knife of a person. He kind of likes to do everything alone. Like he's a great editor, producer, writer, director. So
Please.
the fact that
I'm like a Swiss Army knife, but every point is slightly blunt.
Yeah.
So I can have a crack at everything.
yeah,
I'm not the best at anything, but I'll have a crack at everything.
but this trial by fire way of going about it would have really lent itself to the subject matter as well, because it's not like unlike what they've been going through their whole lives and in the pursuit of that finals run as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think that's what the tail end of the film is about. The whole film is sort of hinting at the topics and the themes and the subject matter. And then the last 5 minutes, it finally hits you when all of these people that have been experiencing this all their life look into the camera and start telling you exactly like why they're there and why they do it and what they would be doing without it and what it breeds in them and what they have been doing and what they want to do. And that's the inspiring bit. And yeah, you have to build a lot of trust, like you said. You have to get access, and then you have to have trust to the people you access.
Yeah.
And you need, I think you guys mentioned this as well, you need to have trust in the subject, that they're being honest. And you can tell when, mostly, especially in my situation, you can tell when they're not being honest. That would be a tricky bit if you really couldn't. But then again, if that's what your documentary is about, where you're like, what is this guy bullshitting or not?
Yeah.
That's important. But with me, it was important that everyone was being honest. And I was just lucky enough to already have that, which a lot of people recommend you don't do, but I already had the pre-existing sort of relationship.
Yeah, I don't think there's necessarily a conflict of interest with this sort of idea with having proximity, whereas obviously there would be a massive potential ethical one for the gang stalking one. Like it's different idea to idea, but I'm really excited I'm glad you had the time to kind of explain it to me, because I was
thank you
like,
for the platform.
yeah, and outside of WMA, do you have any plans for it like after?
Yes. Some of it I am not allowed to talk about. Oh, well, yeah, I can. So I just won't use specifics, but I went to a local independent cinema to test the DCP because the ProRes for a 110-minute film is so large, they needed to load it for a couple of hours. And then I watched it with the owner of the cinema, who was also the projectionist, and he showed a lot of interest in it and recommended me effective immediately via email to the screen culture people in WA, to Rev with an email, and was like, you need to watch this because it's something you're interested in. And then I got recommended some other ones that are across Australia in different states, like AF and the Melbourne International Film Festival. And a lot of those, like, I've tried with my other projects, which probably weren't up to the level because they take a lot of bigger budget things, which is what I told them initially. I was like, I made this with like high quality equipment, but pennies, man. I didn't really, yeah. But again, what I kind of learned originally with my short films is that it's about passion, right? It's not really about what you put into it. You can put in $250 million fucking dollars into the remake of Ben-Hur, but if it's soulless, no one's going to give a shit. And then you can make a Best Picture winner for, 900,000 or 9 million or whatever it is. So it really depends on what goes into it. So yeah, I do. And there's some other things which we can talk about off camera, but that's sort of where I'm planning for it to go. But initially, what I wanted to do is that I wanted a platform so that the people in the film could see themselves in the film. That was my number one priority. And WA Made will not take a feature film if it's not premiering. So I couldn't, even though it was done like maybe 4 months ago, I couldn't even do a friends and family screening. They wouldn't take it. They want exclusive access, which I completely respect and understand. That's why I checked with them. So I couldn't do a temporary screening, and I couldn't submit it to other film festivals that accept or screen earlier than WA Made did. So I just had to hope it got accepted because I didn't know. And then the date wasn't until like mid-January. And I was just lucky it did. And it's got its own thing. And the cinema they use in Palace has accessibility access for everyone. And yeah, they're being really hospitable. And I know I have an existing relationship with Matty Eels, who runs the program. And he's amazing, and he's always supported me too. So I'm grateful for it. But that's why I went there first.
Nah, that's amazing. Like, unreal. Like, I'm sure I'll get more. I'll pursue more details off camera because I don't want you to potentially reveal too much. But that's fucking incredible.
Appreciate it, man.
And I'm really looking forward to watching it.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I'm so glad you guys could come. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, that kind of was a good icebreaker. We're a bit warm for the camera now. So we'll go into our official icebreaker now, which I want to kind of segment and kind of make this more rigidly structured, just because we can be rambling when we get going. Yeah, nice.
Agreed.
Like uptight.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have this new segment called like, what did I watch? Or it doesn't necessarily need to be something you watch. It could be something you read, something you've listened to between like in the past few months, or maybe even something you just want to like personally talk about. Shout out. You've actually been talking a bit too much. So I'm going to start with Chloe.
What have I watched recently? Been watching a lot of TV shows. Have you guys heard of Arcane?
Yeah, I know what it is. League of Legends adaptation, right? Animated.
Yeah.
My wife loves it and my friends love it, so I do want to watch it.
I mean, I've always not been totally interested in animation, but the animation in this was incredible. And it's a really good storyline, and I was like, hooked the entire time. So I would recommend watching
What
it.
is that on?
What is it on? Netflix, is it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Jamie.
We like to always call out Sam.
Love Sam.
And then I'm recently gotten just into a bit of an animation spiral, and I'm watching, what is it? Mighty Nine?
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Do you like
I
it?
do.
I'm only a couple of episodes in.
It gets... Actually, I don't think I've finished it. I think I watched the first 6 or something.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy it. That's a Dungeons and Dragons adaptation. It's their second one. These guys, I haven't watched all the first one either, but I think I enjoy the start of this more than I did their other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it lately. And I've been reading.
Yeah.
What have you been reading?
I'm actually in a book club.
No way.
I am. I haven't read this month's book though. I'm just reading my own shit. But I'm into like.
Point of the book club.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
Sorry. But I'm into like romantasy. So I'm reading about vampires. Like,
Nice.
a little bit saucy, but
Okay.
yeah.
The large text books, the like ones that are this thick, like with the.
Have you read something called A Throne of Glass?
Yeah, that's my favorite series ever.
Really?
Yeah.
I got recommended it and I bought the first book. It's like next up for
I
me.
love this. So there's a way.
Sarah J. Maas. as well.
Yes.
There you go.
There's a way.
This camera may as well not be on.
Yeah. There's different orders you can read it in. I'm going to tell you how I read it.
I'm the prequel one, I think.
You're reading Assassin's Blade first?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I was told to do.
People always say don't read the prequel first. They're shit and they're lying.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck them. Read
Okay,
the prequel.
for like,
A pause, we're talking. Keep going.
can
And
you
then-
explain it, please?
Okay.
And
A book is a compendium of pages.
Oh, I didn't know.
wait, let me
Okay,
just
go
get
on,
through
go
the order.
ahead.
Okay.
You do Assassin's Blade and then Throne of Glass next, Crowd of Midnight, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to book 6 and 7. Tandem read them. So read them at the same time.
Okay. Do they take
Laugh at me. Say, oh,
do they take place at the same time?
they do, but they're on different sides of the continent.
That's a cool format.
Yeah,
Do you have questions?
Yeah, what is it?
you have to read it.
I thought we went over that. It's a romantasy.
More fantasy.
Just fantasy.
Yeah.
But like the
Is an
order.
assassin.
So, and the order, like, is
The
it?
blurb. I own the novel. No.
So, what do you mean about the order? Is it kind of like?
Oh, so the book I'm starting with is a prequel novel to the original text series of books.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Chloe is recommending something that I am about to do, which is start with the prequel novel before you go into the main series of books. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's like, different ways you can read the whole series depending on like what kind of experience that you want. So if you read the Assassin's Blade in like order of it being released, I feel like you wouldn't get the same reaction from that book that you might reading it straight up. And I feel like it just puts you into the series already having a lot of background information. I understand why people read it differently, obviously. But yeah, that's just what I would
Hell
recommend.
yeah. What have you been reading and or watching, Aaron?
I haven't really had much time to watch movies, but I'm making an active effort to go through the Best Picture nominees before the Oscars are announced. So, like last podcast, I talked about Frankenstein, which I loved.
Fantastic.
I'm actually curious what you. I'll talk to you later about what you thought about it, or maybe we can talk about it later.
Well, I was going to bring it up in what I'm reading.
Oh, okay, cool.
But keep going.
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
going.
And so I watched Marty Supreme in theaters, which I really enjoyed. I wasn't really sold on the Timothée Chalamet character from how it was advertised. I thought he was playing, like, I struggled to look past him, but I thought his charm and his character worked really well. And he actually kind of wins me over. And then to the point where when everything starts kind of, when he's more under the pump in the midsection of the film, like, even though he's like an asshole and like a very deeply flawed character, you're still like really heavily invested. And I think it's like hinged on his performance.
In Good Time, those guys got said to be invested in pedophiles.
Yeah.
He's doing better than that.
Yeah. Good Time. Yeah, it's interesting how Good Time, Uncut Gems, and Mighty Supreme specifically are like very similar genre-wise. Out of the three, I think Mighty Supreme is my favorite, with Good Time second and then Uncut Gems last. And I think most of it, all three, I would say what makes one your favorite over the other is you buying into the central performance. And I think I've bought into Timothée Chalamet's central performance more than the other ones. Not to say that the others aren't incredible, because they are, but that's probably the only thing that differentiates them in my mind. But yeah.
Yeah, cool.
You?
Yes, I saw Mighty Supreme last week in cinemas too. I really liked it. I think I've got 2 Best Picture nominees left.
F1?
No, I saw that in cinema. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's not Top Gun Maverick, but I enjoyed it. I just watched Hamnet the other day. Quite good. Very, very sad, but well made. Chloe Zhao is an amazing filmmaker. Sinners might be my favorite from last year. Sinners and One Battle After Another, which I just bought. I saw it in cinemas and it just came out on Blu-ray last week, so I rewatched it with Alicia this time because I saw it with someone else the first time, and it's unbelievable. That will be like a hallmark film, sort of like There Will Be Blood was from 2007. Like people will remember One Battle After Another.
Really?
It's a very important film, incredibly well made, and it's like most of the film is Leonardo DiCaprio trying to charge his phone. Like that's a lot of the framing device. It's very funny. It's a Big Lebowski-esque, but has a lot of important issues to talk about, especially even though it's set in 2005 or 10 or whatever, regarding sort of left and right wing extremist groups like Antifa and stuff like that. But that's really good. I just saw it's not going to be a Best Picture nominee, but I just saw 28 Years Later, the second one, The Bone Temple, and that was magnificent. Nia DaCosta is one of the best like voices in horror because Candyman was also it, and 28 Years Later I think is better than Danny Boyle's 28 Years Later from last year, which I also really liked. But Bone Temple was unbelievable, and then I reread Frankenstein before Guillermo del Toro's adaptation, a masterwork by Mary Shelley, like a deeply sad story about that author, but she's amazing. And to think that she wrote that at 19 is ridiculous. I just read Homer's The Odyssey, which is an amazing story as well, and I'm halfway through his follow-up novel, The Iliad, about the fall of Troy after the war and where that goes. And I've got the Aeneid following up next, which is the Prince of Troy and where he goes after that, and it's all sort of mixed in with Greek mythology. And then I'm reading a graphic novel called, I'm nearly done. I'm reading a graphic novel which is really good, and it's by Frank Miller. It's called From Hell, and it's a fictionalized investigation upon the real Jack the Ripper serial killer. It's from like 1989. It's in black and white. It's fantastic. And the lead investigator falls in love with one of the prostitutes who Jack tried to kill and is now on his hit list. And he has to find Jack while, it's a whole thing. And then I've got that one up next. But doing as much as I can.
Yeah, no, that'd be sick. Just quietly, because I really enjoyed it. What did you think of Guillermo's Frankenstein? Not necessarily as like a true adaptation, but I think he adapted the material really uniquely.
Yeah, I think that's the way to look at it, because I thought it was a wonderful film. I mean, I love Guillermo del Toro, obviously. But it's not a direct adaptation. It never was going to be. It's his, and I think he adapted the feelings that he got while reading it, which I believe what Emerald Fennell is doing with Wuthering Heights, another classic novel. But this, I think, the feeling of it. But he did things that no other adaptation has done. The framing device of having the ice boat captain's story and then Frankenstein's story and the creature's story and them meeting up, and the idea that the creature isn't Herder, Frankenstein killed, but he's deeply intelligent and deeply sad and somber about a world that won't accept him, and that's what tips him over the edge because he just tries and tries and tries. Like when he saves that little girl from drowning and then his dad tries to kill him, it's just heartbreaking. Same, and my favorite scene in the book is like a third of it, and it's when he's living in the hovel and he's learning from the family, and that was done so well. So the whole film I loved. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. Elordi specifically is incredible. He's ridiculous.
I am so glad he got nominated. From what I've heard, because I haven't seen the other ones, he probably won't win. But it's a good performance. I'm really glad he got recognition. For it.
Sentimental value. The Skarsgård, Stellan will win. But
interesting.
Anyway.
I've heard a lot of Sean Penn.
Yeah, he was winning at the beginning for One Battle After Another, but he's dropped off a bit because now he's fighting with another actor from the same movie for the same award, and they're sort of splitting votes, and now Stellan Skarsgård's coming out ahead, and Elordi's happy to be there, although he just won the Globe, so who knows. But.
And my boy Ethan Hawke. Like, I love
Have you
him.
seen Blue Moon?
No, I haven't.
It's good.
I need to because I'm a massive Linklater fan, probably
like
the
it.
biggest. But
The whole thing's set in like one room.
yeah,
It's incredible.
sounds right up my alley. I'll definitely.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a belated segment of that. I'm glad it's good to have someone else. Wait.
Oh my god, we need to get on to
Doesn't
your
even
film.
matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we might just jump into the idea. Like this is kind of a unique episode in that normally, well, at least the first 3 episodes, and you might notice the description on Spotify and whatever has changed slightly because it was described as documentary ideas. That's Chloe came up with the idea. That was her idea. She's a documentary girl. That's how it happened. But in terms of coming up with a new idea every 2 weeks, it's not feasible, at least for me. Like I'm sure Chloe has a million documentaries she could pitch and create engaging hour.
So,
Next time. So in order to like go the tit for tat and not put the burden on her, I think I've kind of had the idea to talk about a narrative feature length idea that I've had that incorporates elements of documentary filmmaking in that it will be portrayed truthfully to the historical setting. And I think from that as a springboard, you create that ecosystem and then it's kind of like natural selection. A story happens from it. So the happened story is what is fictional, but the ecosystem in which it's come from is true. And it's quite interesting. Jaron might not remember, but it was one of the first scripts I ever wrote. When Jaron and I met, I was only producing. I think it was mostly from a lack of self-confidence, which is funny to look at now, because I'm almost too confident. But Jaron was actually one of like the most formative people in my journey as a filmmaker because he gave me my initial confidence and encouraged me to pursue writing and pursue directing. So it's really good to have him here. He wouldn't remember this idea at all, but it was... Yeah, he would remember it because we've spoken about it.
I remember
before.
where I read it. I remember reading
Yeah.
it.
Was it in the room in...
it was at uni. Oh, I remember why I read it. Like
Okay,
4
where did
years
you read
ago.
it?
We were in that room off the side.
In the architecture building, that medical kind of room.
Yeah. And you had a whiteboard. No, I read it at home, and then I came into uni, and you had a whiteboard, and you got out all your notes, and you
Sounds like
did like this and that, and then we like spoke about it.
How
and
it
then
comes
everyone
together,
else,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
everyone else came in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was years ago now.
Yeah, that would have been 2021.
One.
That was when we did Majors,
Jesus.
right? Yeah. So
was
it's
a
been
long time.
it's been a long time.
Was that probably a couple of years?
Yeah. But the idea was a very formative genre for me is Westerns. It was how I initially kind of got into movies. Those 3 o'clock in the afternoon Sunday movies that would be on like 7 Mate or one of those like offshoot channels where it would be like Rio Bravo and it would be
Paying your way.
yeah. So and I would watch it with my dad, which was like a good father-son bonding experience, and it kind of indoctrinated me into like being a heavy Western person. So I was like, I want to write a Western, mostly using Magnificent Seven as the jumping off point, which is, I think, a perfect movie and one of my favorite movies of all time. And then implementing elements of like Rio Bravo, like old 60s cowboy movies. So I wrote this script called Reckless Caretaker, which is centered around the American West. And I actually was doing more research into the American West because I was like, I want to make it accurate to that setting. And I found out that 1/3 of the cowboys were actually African American. And then like largely 2/3 of the people in the West were either African American, Mexican, or Native Indian. And then that's like a completely whitewash aspect. And it kind of made me question everything I'd seen because I had only seen those movies from the 60s, from the 50s, 60s. And I was like, well, this is just a completely fictional account of true events happening. So I wrote the initial script with an adoration of those Westerns. So the script was initially not historically accurate. And I also was posturing as like someone who, like an American, I was posturing like I had the tools and the know-how to make an American story in an American context and stuff like that. But kind of shared it to you guys, nothing much happened, did uni, did all that. And then I revisited it a few years ago and I read it and I thought the bare bones were actually quite solid still all those years later, but it still felt a bit fake and not genuine. And I think most of it was the setting. So I did more research and heavily applied it to an Australian Western context, which is the main difference. Like between the script that you read and what you're familiar with it, not much has changed. It's just the setting and, like I said, the ecosystem and the story has unfolded from there. But as I did more research, I found similar to what I did with the Old West, where I was like, most of the people in there weren't white. There was all these other things. Like if you were a woman in the Old West, you were either a teacher or a prostitute. And that was pretty much it. Like the depictions of women in those movies, like the femme fatale character just didn't exist in like Rio Bravo. Like feathers wouldn't have existed. So I kind of delved more into that and applied it to an Australian context. And in Australia as well, I feel like we've had a similar whitewashing of that era, which would be comparable like Gold Rush era. Are you guys familiar with like the Gold Rush era history of Australia?
Not extensively.
Sorry, I'm gonna edit here. This gum is getting really. I need to chuck this out. How would
you
want
can
the
leave
battery?
that in. Do you know how he left in that when I was like, all right, can we stop because I need to go to the toilet?
Yep.
Yeah, but that's
We can
funny.
leave this shit in.
Just wait. I need some water as well.
You're kidding me.
Where's the bin up here? So the Gold Rush era occurred like 1850 to pretty much early 1900s. And similar, like I said, to the Old West stories, it actually was very multicultural in the ethnicities. It was almost like a lie sold to people. It's the same with the Californian Gold Rush and what happened over West in America, but it was almost like they needed space for people to occupy the country. Because you think this is before we were federalized, this was before, like it was just like a lawless land in a lot of places. You need bodies of people to occupy spaces, to create settlements, to create society so you can consolidate power and colonization effectively. So they needed people, especially around the time of Australia then. I think they only had like just under like 1 million people max in the late 1800s. So it's actually interesting, like 5%, like 450,000. I believe it's 450,000 in Australia total. 5% of them were Chinese, and a lot of them came over just with the lie of, oh, you're going to come here, you're going to find gold, you're going to strike gold, you're going to be rich. Whereas the reality was like 98% of people never found gold, and at the time, these camps were actually pretty like terrible places to live, especially if you were Chinese. In 1855, there was a Chinese immigration law that was passed in Australia where it basically, if you were Chinese and you immigrated, you had to pay a £10 poll, which is the equivalent of like a few $1,000s to immigrate. You had to go through all these checks and balances in order to come into the country, and they were basically othered in society. And it kind of came to a head in like the 1860s where there was this it's called the Lambing Flat riots, which occurred in New South Wales, where effectively there was a wave of vigilante violence against Chinese camps. Historically speaking, Chinese men wore their hair in like ponytails, so they would like grab them by their ponytails and cut them off, and like in instances like assault, sexually assault the women, assault the men, or even murder them. And the funny thing is, the response of the Australian government was actually to impose more restrictions on immigration as kind of an offhanded way of saying we're protecting them. So in America, similar things were happening with their gold rush over West. They had the Chinese Exclusion Act, which was in, I think, the 1860s, like maybe even 1880s, like a bit later, where the president at the time, I don't remember, was just like, yeah, we're like doing a good thing for the Chinamen by like not having them like come here. They're just not going to come here, and then they won't have violence partaken to them. And it's like, this is all happening whilst China was going through like one of several civil wars and like a lot of conflict over East. So like other countries were separate, the whole separate but equal concept that was propagated in the 19th and 20th century and kind of has permeated even now. Like I think it's a kind of talking point and a way that we view things. But I looked into it and I was like, this is very interesting. And it changed the way I viewed the script. At the time, also it happened to this group as well, but Irish people also severely discriminated against. And it kind of made me stumble upon the true story of the Kelly Gang, that movie. Have you guys seen that?
Yep.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I recommend you seeing it. It's on Stan. It's pretty good.
Stan original.
Yeah.
Yeah, really well shot film.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, who's the main actor? He's in 1917.
Yeah,
as
George
well.
McKay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's not Australian, but does like a really
he's British though, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Ned Kelly was probably a British convict.
No, he was actually Irish.
Irish, yes.
Irish, yeah. So Irish settlers. Yeah.
So George is closer to him than we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yes, I know what you mean. But he's amazing.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and that context, the language I really got taken with is like calling them constable instead of sheriff. Like no one called anyone sheriff. I was reading my script and I was like, this is so disingenuous. Like I'm just posturing as if it was the 60s and I was like writing the whitewashed westerns that I admittedly love, but like that had no historical realism. So I used that, and I didn't even particularly love that movie, but I was like, I used it as a canvas and kind of applied it to, or the opposite, I used it as paint and applied it to the script. Cleaned up the language, and then I instituted a character that was the result of, so she's half Chinese, half Irish, or half Australian, sorry, and it's heavily implied that her father sexually assaulted her mum and that she was the result of that pregnancy. And then that's what I used as the ecosystem. And then literally everything else that you might remember from the script is the exact same, but I just used that as background. And then developed it, and it got to a point where, especially through Chloe and Sam, we had the means to actually shoot some of it. So there's actually a portion of it that we have shot with this historical lens in mind. And like, I know, again, it's by no means finished. It's only the first 10 minutes of this short film, which would be 25 minutes long. But in terms of shooting it and everything that went into it, I want to start with you. What is your personal experience with it? And do you have any like tidbits about it? Because I could kind of go on and on about it. I kind of want to break up me talking.
I'm really sick of hearing your voice anyways.
Yeah.
As in, what was my experience like on set with it, or?
In terms of maybe the pre-production, like the conceptualizing section, because this was kind of early days HFM as well. And it was the first production we did as a team.
Well, I mean, I wasn't too heavily involved in pre-production, if I'm quite honest, because I was just the first AD. I mean, I did help a little bit, didn't I?
Yeah, it was mostly like the scheduling, logistics
behind
like
it.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, I probably would be more involved with the next part of the filming, because they've been trying to find a bar for like.
Yeah, so the story is set between the Australian landscape and then also what they would call a bar or saloon if you're Western pilled. And in terms of like at the time, bars didn't really look like how old-fashioned bars are made to look now. So it's really hard to find something that is historically accurate, and that's something that I wanted to like keep first and foremost. But in terms of us shooting that exterior part, we needed a lot of moving parts. We needed a field, we needed woods, we needed like water, we needed like a hill. So we actually had to film in Albany, which was like 4 hours away.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. I guess we got a really great location for needing all of those parts, and it worked really well in that way. But for like instance, I grew up in the wheat belt in Western Australia, and like when I think of like a Western version of Australia, obviously I'm going to think of that, and it looks nothing like down in Albany. Nothing's green.
Yeah.
Everything's like bush and grey and, you know. So yeah, it maybe might not look how a lot of other people might see Australia, if that makes sense. So that would probably be my only tidbit. I mean, it's beautiful and obviously it is Australian landscape. But like, yeah, do you think it should have looked a little bit more outback?
So I initially wrote it for it to be the outback, but then the main actor was also a producer who helped. Said he had access to this location, which is, but it's actually between Albany and like another
it's like an hour.
coastal town. It's like an hour outside of Albany. The nearest fuel station was an hour and a half away, like the nearest reliable fuel station. So he said he had access to this location, and I saw some footage of it, and it actually evoked a lot of Irish, Scottish landscapes, because it has like the almost pristine grass that's like permanently on an angle because of the wind, and the rocks, and then it's just sheep everywhere. It's cold, freezing, overcast. And then I thought more about the historical context about them being Irish immigrants actually written into the story. And I thought it kind of could create some, it would create some nice contrast having that location and then the bar location. So like, obviously they're supposed to be both in Australia, but the fact that maybe people don't understand Australia is diverse is kind of to its strength. But it was more of a location of means. Like we had the means to shoot it, we had the time, the crew, and did it. Yeah. It's like, Sam would probably agree, it's by no means perfect. Because it's a script which is the beginning portion of what I plan to be a feature. And then of that script, we filmed a part of it. So it's almost like a part of the proof of concept of the real thing.
Yeah.
So it's like that far removed from it. And then you saw it today for the first time. Do you have any thoughts about it, maybe landscape-wise, or as it like maybe keeping it focused more on the Australian context? Because I was trying really hard to make it Australian, and I don't necessarily, like, obviously there's no dialogue in the portion you watch, but like I wonder how clear that came across.
Well, it did, because I know that it was shot in Australia, but also everyone's lens on how they view things is a product of their environment. So some people grew up in green parts of Australia, some people grew up in red parts of Australia, some grew up in yellow parts of Australia where it is all dead fauna. And I think a lot of and this goes to what you're not doing, right? So you're not leaning into really iconography, because you're not going for a ye old saloon. You're going for a proper Australian, like historically accurate, like pub bar. And so I think since you're not leaning into what is like a staple of cinema, that classic Australian iconography, everyone sees us as just being red, as just being yellow, because that's how we're portrayed. And it's just like a snake. Like they see Australia as that, so that's what they do, so everyone knows it's Australia. It's like putting a sepia filter over shooting in South America, so everyone knows you're in Mexico or whatever. But that's not what Australia is. We have so many different micro ecosystems, and like we live here, we know lots of green. Most of it's cement now, but lots of green, lots of red, lots of yellow. There's things everywhere. So I think it's almost more authentic and lends itself more to the credence of how you wanted to make the film, that it does sort of look like Banshees of Inisherin, because we have parts like that,
Yeah.
and it's proof because it is shot
Yeah.
there. And I think you can, like you said, you can use a contrast where, have you guys looked at York for a part? Have you looked at York?
That was actually, because funny thing is, Sam, a lovely Sam, he filmed in Albany, and the very next day filmed all the way in York.
I made a short film called Sam. You think there's any connection there? You an assassin and then killed yourself?
Do you wanna watch it?
No, that's not. No, no, first year stuff. But they shot a, I don't remember what it's called, but Sam Neill is the main character, and it's a Stan original TV series, and it's an Australian period piece down there. And again, they might have used stuff that you're not exactly looking for. But
Yeah.
anyway, my point is, like you said, you can use like a juxtaposition or a contrast where it's like a yellow, like just sand and dead fauna laden bar. And then you can contrast that to where he is. And you could even lean into that through themes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it definitely is, because I'm glad you brought that up, because it's centered around two brothers. And the part that you've seen, it features just the one character, the older brother, and he kind of tends to the field, and he's very like, this is what I must do. Like, this is my life. I just work the field because it needs to be done. Whereas his brother is kind of like the village drunkard. So that contrast can be seen visually in the locations in which they're situated. Like, he is more cold, dark, and like weather worn, whereas he's more like pimply and like in like a dusty, maybe loud kind of stuff. Whereas the other one's more soft spoken. So I think you actually pointed out an innate, like an intrinsic contrast that I haven't even thought about. So that's,
I'll take a producer credit.
yeah, we'll talk. But that kind of, the production itself was all things considered pretty smooth.
Run pretty smoothly, yeah.
Yeah, considering we had to trek over 4 hours to get there, we needed Sam to have like a van, so we needed to hire a van. We needed to, basically, we had the good fortune of everyone being willing to work for free, which is really rare. Well, I'm really humbled by that, because it's written and directed by me. So putting a lot of faith in me puts a lot of pressure on me to do what's right. But their faith in me made me fake the confidence, I guess.
Sam doesn't need it. Look at his studio.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at his production value. He's got the big bucks.
Yeah, I actually might be deluded in the reason why people came. I think it was for Sam.
Yeah, everyone wants to work with
It
Sam.
was for Sam, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Work on Sam's film directed by this guy.
so we shot over the King's birthday long weekend. So we went there on Friday. We had the Saturday, Sunday, Monday off as public holidays, I believe. We bumped in on that Friday, so we had 3 shooting days, right? When we were there, it was raining across a bit of the block towards the tail end. So we didn't, like, a lot of it was a bit more rushed than we would like, especially because I was fortunate enough to do a recce, but it was just me. And I'm not technically inclined. Yeah, so I went with the main actor who is also the producer and also aunt and uncle there. So I stayed with the owners of it in their house, and they were lovely and stuff. But I could only do so much. You could only expect so much of a lowly director with no technical ability. But Sam just missed out on being able to go because he had another project. So it was like, in hindsight, we're just like spewing that we couldn't. I don't like this.
Where's the location?
It was in Sandalford.
Oh, Sandalford's good. Sandalford's good. Anyway, continue.
And it was probably paid.
Definitely, yeah. You don't do a wedding for free. That's too much work.
Yeah. So I think we made do. It was an amazing set. Like, we had so much fun shooting it.
We did have
But then Sam and I, when we were looking at the dailies, looking at the edits, we were just like, I wish I could do everything different.
Really? I didn't know that.
Well, mostly me. Sam, I don't want to speak for Sam, but Sam's camera work, at least to my eyes, is amazing.
Yeah.
But
It was alright.
Beautiful.
yeah, He's doing one of these, but it's pretty
Shut up,
great
Sam.
considering. And so that kind of puts us in a weird position because we invested a lot of time, energy, and money into just shooting the first 5 pages of a 15-page feature. And it's at a level where it is like close to being cinematic level of quality, but not quite. And then it puts us in a bit of a spot for a few reasons, because the bar sequence, which is the remaining 10 pages of that 15-page script, has a lot of, sorry, voice break. Mind that.
This man owns a house and his voice is breaking.
I'm actually cutting this out just to
Dox him.
The remaining 10 pages is in that bar location, requires extras, other actors, quadruple the costume, the production design, the crew we would need. We would need at least 2 ADs. We only had like 1 on site. We would probably need multiple continuity people. Like and that's just for base.
Yep.
Well,
Sorry, what was that?
What?
well,
Aaron was telling me he had a pretty cruddy AD. I don't know who actually did it, but that's what he said.
I didn't say that.
He told me that.
That was
In
in
confidence, sure,
Yeah.
yeah. But
now in front of our viewer.
Yeah.
he loves it because I also cook for everyone.
Yeah,
clean
a bit of a
for
mixed
everyone.
mixed role. She was
Yeah.
great. I have no complaints about Chloe because I wasn't doing half the
He
shit
wanted
she
me
was doing.
to stay with all the boys so I could get them up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, she came on.
You
for
stayed with all the boys on the
No,
last shoot?
no,
On the
I-
last shoot we did.
Oh yeah, but
in
You weren't getting people up.
2023.
no, I was getting it.
Nah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also wasn't really there for half.
No, he paid for a room but then didn't stay. Thanks.
I don't like this at all. Might swap spots a bit later, but
I'll be happy with that.
I know you would. But yeah, and that's just if we were to shoot it how we normally shoot, which is on a shoestring budget. Those other 10 pages would require like minimum triple the amount of crew and money just to get it at a serviceable
Yeah.
short film level. So the problem with that is I would want to wait until I had real money in order to do it, so I could pay people, get a really good location, really good production design and whatnot. But if we were to do that, it would make what we've shot not as good in comparison. So we're kind of in a sticky situation where I'm praying to get more money so that we can redo it. But then if we get that, then we would have to redo what we've already shot. Whereas if we can't get money and we can do it on a shoestring budget, then maybe what we've already shot can stay, but it wouldn't be ideal. So and then also keeping in mind that this short film is a part of a planned feature. So then the problem might even be the same going on from that. Like we might finish that section of the script and then we get real money for the rest and it's like, oh, we have to do all the rest. Like,
Well, this is an extreme comparison, but have you seen the original short film Whiplash?
yes, I have, yeah.
Yeah, it's the acting and the direction and the editing is fantastic, but it looks awful.
Yeah.
And they just made it because they had passion behind it, and then luckily that got the boon of all boons, and A24 picked it up and gave it a budget, and they were able to make an amazing, incredible high budget, relatively film. But that could be a path you're on.
Yeah. I think
Overthinking.
just for me and maybe for Sam as well, I grapple a lot with the idea of it being sunk cost, like the idea of all of that effectively being for nothing. Which is why, if that were the case, I would want to put it to use and get a grade on it, get sound on it, and use it as a proof of concept.
Yeah.
Proper. Like you said, there were that initial Whiplash one is a bit rough in areas. It's like the lighting mostly it is the most noticeable thing. But yeah, but it did its job, and the fact that we have a very highly produced. Clearly
He also
went to a
had
lot
J.K.
of.
Simmons for his short film. So
Yeah, we have Alex Arco though, so
that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
yeah. But yeah, so it's in a bit of a spot where at my current stage, I don't want to continue working on it because we wouldn't have the money in order to make something that's even as good as what we shot. And if we get a little bit of money, if we get a lot more money, and we can make it how we want it to be shot, then we've outgrown what we've already shot. So it's like we need to ask for more money, and then it's like a bit.
We always used to say in uni, right, that saying where you don't ever know how you want to shoot something until you've shot it.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
So it would be an advantage if you did go back. I don't think it would ever be time lost because it's the experience and you got it in the can and you can always use something for something. Sure, it might take some convincing to the people that, gave their time, but I guarantee that people didn't think of that exclusively as work. Like, people would have had a fun time and they didn't just do it for that. So I don't think it would ever be time lost. And if it comes down to it and you need to shoot it again, it's nothing but an advantage.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I think it would be everything. Yeah. It was everything Sam needed. It was I could just see it as like a recce. That like whole shoot was just a recce.
It goes for everyone in the department. I guarantee you talk about that shoot, any shoot really, but sound would be like, I wish I did that differently. Sam would be like, I wish it wasn't as windy. I could have done that smoother. You could have been like, I wish I had blocked that shot or directed that performance differently. Fucking Crafty could have been like, I wish I could forget those sandwiches. I don't know. But everyone would always want like a second crack at something.
Yeah.
Especially given space.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about. And we've kind of delved into everything. And I think that's a good place to kind of end it because it's leaving me more hopeful than I was when I started this conversation.
I will say before we wrap up as well, if you don't mind, like you are, always have been, but you are innately ambitious and everyone follows you because you have this ambition and you have this ridiculous ability to articulate your ambition. You articulate it with passion. You're incredibly empathetic to the people that work with you and the people that are helping you. Like you're completely understanding of those people. And so you naturally are like a sort of leader, which is why people will be happy to do this with you, which is why people trust your vision, whether you want to make it a short film or a feature film, because I do. I can see all of that and I can see why people follow you and I can see that they see that too. So just keep doing it, man, because if you keep pushing yourself and you get to that stage where it can like keep taking steps forward, inevitably it will be incredible, like whatever your finished output is.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I don't know what to respond with that, but
I've just wanted to let you know, sincerely.
I really appreciate that. Yeah. It's I'm not going to say anything else.
Wow, you left him speechless.
Wow,
I've never been able to do that.
And she's tried.
I've been doing gym in this camera the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what to say really.
Come back next week or 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
I really appreciate having whilst it was a bit of a looser episode, I think talking about it in more detail might be antithetical to the creative process because it's still like not like the feature I've talked about I haven't even written, but I'm speaking about it like it's a finished thing. So like going
every time you're on a project, you'd always pitch your next 3 projects to us and we'd be like,
oh my god,
I can finish what you're doing.
It's actually funny
It's
you say
incredible.
that. In one of the nights we were drinking some whiskey and Guinness as you do on a film set
You mix them.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I had an early call time,
That's a
but
good
like I was
drink.
sleeping outside in the swag, so I had like the cold air. I was like really like method on that shoot. And then I was like to Sam, I was just like, what did I say? I was like,
You're like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna shoot this. No, Sam
No.
wants us to shoot this or something.
no, I was just like shooting my film next year says what? And then he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, so like next
Sam, have you
year,
been on camera
Sam
yet?
and I are.
You want to come on camera? He doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
That's all right.
We're
Like-
gonna have a
Picture of
face
him, yeah.
reveal at
And
500
we're gonna keep
subscribers.
him a secret so no one else knows this. No
Yeah. Yeah.
one will see his.
Nah, but that sentiment of always planning the next one is like what keeps us passionate and driving, especially when it's so hard. It's so easy to be disgruntled or to be disheartened when you're not getting paid, when maybe it's really difficult to like wrangle other people who are as passionate as you to help for free, which is like insane. So like the fact that we even though we have maybe gone separate paths over the years, like have still been driving in our own way towards that goal is really inspiring. And I'm looking forward to seeing what one of us or all of us do in the future with that mindset.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you for watching this very loose and special episode of the Hold for Media podcast. Just before I do go, I just want to plug a fundraiser performance, which we are doing. It's on the 27th of Feb, so the Labor Day long weekend. All the funds would be directly supporting Hold for Media. And it's a performance of a few like rock, metal and punk bands in Milk Bar, Inglewood. I will be performing in one of them. You can avoid the bar between 8 and 9 and you'll completely miss me. So maybe come at 9 because that's when, start at 7, leave at 8, come at 9. Just one of those, you know.
Aren't you plugging this? Like you want people to come?
Yeah, but I also want to measure their expectations. Well, I'm not great. But yeah, I hope to see you there. I'll be there. Chloe will be there. Jaron probably won't be because it's still like a long time.
My film's the next day.
Oh,
and I think we're getting someone to watch the kids the night of and then the entire next day, I think. So if that is happening, then I'll probably be there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But
You have to see all three of us.
yeah.
I'll be hiding. Like you won't see me. But
Yeah.
I'll probably be there.
Well, I wouldn't be able to perform if I saw you.
Oh, good. Yeah. I'll be like Marvel movie, like baseball cap and black.
Yeah. Yeah. The
People
one
on the
disguise.
Unabomber or something.
Yeah.
Sort it out. But I'll see a good portion, you said.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah, it would be good to talk to a few people and hopefully we have a crowd. But yeah, do you want to close in a better way?
By the way.
Yeah. What?
I don't know what to say.
You got
How do you
this.
finish it?
Come on here. You've sat next to me with your anxious energy,
Yeah.
and it's made me really anxious.
You got this now.
I think the anxious energy left about 5 seconds into his first speech.
So actually, it might just be me today. So.
You got this.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks with one of my ideas, which would be good. I haven't thought about it yet, but I will think about it. As always, if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing with Hold for Media as a whole, you can check out our Instagram. We also have Facebook now as well. They're just all at Hold for Media. And yeah, we'll see you guys in a few weeks.
Tell you in a podcast.
Bye.
Bye.